Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming in today. Just giving you the intro, as you probably already read on the meetup, because you might have already. Has anyone actually viewed the video yet? I'm just trying to get a feel. It's okay, don't be shy. Thank you. We have 2 fans in the room. That's awesome.
They didn't say they liked it. They just said they watched it.
That's probably why I was like, I kind of watched it. And that's okay. We put it on Slack because we don't want anybody to miss out. We really do need your feedback. That's why we're here. So please, if you do have a moment, even if it's the first 5 minutes of the video, please take a minute just to take a quick look at it. And DGTV is basically our digital government television. And today we're presenting our pilot, and it's produced and hosted by the Re Open Gov, as you can see by a little insignia on the side there, if you want to join us. Contributors, Derek Alton, whom is not here today, and he's in Ottawa, and myself, Kejo Buchanan, and Pietro. And so our goal here is to create a news style. That's okay. Okay. Yes. Yeah, no worries. Our goal is to create this kind of like news style series covering headlines and stories related to digital government. Is there anybody here in digital government with us today? Woo! All right, don't worry, we won't call you out, or we're just trying to get a feel of the room. And so we're hoping that this would be something that would be beneficial to you and anyone who's interested in digital government and digital governance in a whole. You may find this very interesting. So we need your feedback in terms of, and also we're going to be recruiting you for skills. So please, let's take a moment and get started. So I've already pretty much told you the purpose, and I think Rich is probably prepared to talk about format.
Yeah, it's pretty simple to start. We're just really testing the premise that there's a lot that's going on when it comes to digital government. Issues like privacy, technology, accessibility, transparency, all these kinds of things. And we thought that it might, actually it was not my idea or Kejo's idea, it was Derek's idea. He brought it up to us. The guy who's in here, he's based out in Ottawa. He's actually a government employee with the Treasury Board and with the Open Government team and the digital team, I'm sorry, I should say. And the premise was really to wrap up the week in terms of news. At the start, very lo-fi. We don't want to put too much production in it, we just want to test the concept, which is the pilot that you saw. No real post-production of any kind. The pre-production was just us finding the articles and the stories and really testing out the format. And we figured that it should be released, it should be pre-recorded as well, not live. We tried with the idea with going live, but it was too difficult for the 3 of us to find time together, so we just said, yeah, we're going to pre-record it, it doesn't really matter. And we figured a release at noon, so like this, at the end of the week, literally during lunchtime, if people want to catch up, they can literally watch our show, or the show, for about 30 to 45 minutes, and see what they may have missed when it comes to these sort of digital government type issues. As well, because we're not comedians, we're not, Jon Stewart or anything along those lines. We want to remain direct and factual for the time being. We're not doing a deep analysis as part of our conversations. I think our biggest segment is maybe 5 minutes long, or the theme that might be 15 minutes long. And the reason for that is, once again, we just want to give the Coles notes as to what happened during the week. The technology, we're using Zoom right now. We're hosting on Vimeo as opposed to YouTube, once again because of privacy concerns and things of that nature. We're using Google Drive, unfortunately. We aren't completely devoid of Google, where we're just doing a repo for links, because that's how me, Kejo, and Derek are working right now. Is like when we're finding an article that we find should be brought up as part of the newscast, we just plop it in there. Before we record, we have a pre-production meeting and try to figure out sort of where things are going to fit, who's going to say what, and then we just sort of use Slack for communications.
Okay, so I'll give you the basic breakdown in our content. As Richard had said before, like our longest segment was probably even like, well, probably went over in Block B because it gets local. But we start with the national, international news, like the things that you're being hearing about in the New York Times in terms of surveillance. And then we'll go into like Block B when we're talking about surveillance in terms of like Well, we haven't covered that one now with the Toronto Police, the latest story, but that would be something that you would see in this. The one that we had was already something that had released it back in December. So it was the fact that the Toronto Police was using to, I can't remember the exact story, but they're basically, racialized data. So the collection of racialized data, and based on a premise that was set out for law enforcement as well as other government agencies to tackle issues around discrimination, which I found very interesting because, we get into the discussion. So watch it and you'll see what I mean. And so that's Block B. So a little more local, something that's a little more relatable, either regionally, something across Ontario, or something that might be GTA. And then we get into what we call the rapid block. I don't know how rapid we were, but we're trying to be. And so it's more your newsworthy headlines as well as local things. So things that are going on right here in Civic Tech, right? That might be new. We're likely to talk about it there. I think we mentioned it was the book club. So something that's new that's happening. We'll mention it there. Okay. Yeah, so here's a sample if you want to just take a quick note of it. That's the other reason why we had it in the slide. It's also available in Slack, but for those of you who haven't joined Slack yet, here it is. Okay. And you'll see some of the things that, we had mentioned before, everything from what's going on. What's that town up north that decided to go all smart city on us?
Innisfil.
Ah, yes. So of course we're going to be mentioning stories like Innisfil and so on and so forth.
Yeah. The Orbit, you gotta check it out. It has a lot of Black Mirror attached to it though, but it's pretty cool nonetheless.
Exactly.
So much like what Kejo was saying, is we really want your feedback on these sort of 5 key areas, which is sort of the format in general. If you look at it, you'll understand it. We're limited by funds, which are 0 at this stage. But there might be other platforms, for example, other formats on how to actually produce it. We don't have the money to actually have images yet, or the time for that kind of stuff. The style, which deals more with sort of the personalities. Do we want to go deep into an issue? Do we want to stay on the surface? That kind of business. The length, is 30 or 45 minutes too long? Is it too short? The scheduling, once again, is this something that should be done on a Friday at noon? Or is this something that should be done other times, perhaps? Or multiple times? And the content itself. We want to stay relevant to digital government. We want to stay relevant to sort of ahead of that curve a little bit, and really sort of help people, because everyone's got such busy lives and you're bombarded with information all the time. This is a bit of a curation for an audience that's trying to stay up to date and really grabbing what's relevant for the community, the engaged community, the digital government community.
And of course, we'd like you to join us, because I imagine we have a lot of skills in here, as well as you might already know someone that would be interested in this kind of a production, so please pass on word. So we're looking for production, creative team, and on-air talent. You right away know if they're on-air talent, but if you already know somebody or yourself, please suggest yourself. And again, you can get on, I'm going to show the contact information again in case you missed it, but you can get in contact directly with Richard, or I think I probably turned this off by accident. Let's see. Okay, so I'm loud.
That might be the battery.
Oh, it's okay.
It's the battery.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm not really a quiet person, so.
Yeah,
but I'm hoping that the video will pick up some of what I have to say. So we're dealing with production again. If anyone's interested in content creation or writing, anything like that, perhaps you have a marketing project that you got to finish and you want to work a few weeks with us, then we'll be happy to bring you on our team. As well as graphics, we'd love to get some graphics or something else going on so we can have that real news look. Right now, it's us and our beautiful faces, but it'd be nice to have some actual graphics to match the stories that we're discussing. And again, if you have any good vibes or on your talent or know somebody who's on your talent, then we'd be happy to bring you on.
So one of the things to put into context for some of you who may be familiar, if you've watched the show The Newsroom on HBO from a number of years ago, a lot of it, like, if you're familiar with a newscast, there's a whole team of people. You usually have an anchor and a few people that tell you everything, but a lot of times they got someone speaking into the ears, sort of like, rabbits running around in the background. And it would be great to have a full sort of newscast team that comes together and puts something out there, whether it's weekly, whether it's a couple of times a week or every day. But for that, we definitely need people that are both, oh, do you mind bringing us forward?
Sure.
Yes. That can do some of these things. And all of these roles are just as important as the other. And some people I've come to learn, like, while I am on camera for the DGTV, I much prefer being behind the scenes and coordinating things. But same thing, if you want to just participate in especially a newscast here. I'm not saying we're going to become, what is it called? The real Turks? The big Turks? Right?
Young Turks.
Young Turks, that's it. This is not exactly that context. Think more 680 News than CNN, right? 680 News just gives you the news. There might be a little bit of opinion in there, but it's just about the news. The Young Turks, they throw a lot of opinion in there. It's very politically charged. We're not doing a political commentary. We're looking at the news. Is there anything else you want to say, Kejo, on this?
No, I just wanted to say thank you all for listening, but I really bring it in now, bring it in as soon as you can, but please give your comments, and you can DM me again I'm on Slack, I'm also on Twitter, and I think Civic Tech has already done the whole big Twitter retweet, so you'll see all of our information. You can DM anybody on the team that you want to directly come in contact with about joining or just even offering feedback. We love all the constructive feedback you have. Because we're making it for you. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Any questions? Yes, please.
Derek works for that, if I believe correctly. Derek Alton, the third person, but he's leaving in a few weeks.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Sorry, I tend to mumble, I apologize. Derek Alton, the third member of our group, currently works, I think he works with the CDS team in Ottawa. So
Okay.
we do have those contacts, if that's what you're asking.
No, I just wondered if you were connected at all, because...
Very connected.
Yeah,
But there's not an official agreement between the two bodies.
okay.
Derek is
so-
doing that independently of his role with CDS, if that makes any sense. There was a gentleman in the back corner, I didn't hear him.
Thanks. I watched part of the link you sent through and enjoyed it. But
You don't have to lie.
You sound like you knew what you talked about. I listened to it with the phone in my pocket without watching it. So I wondered, and apologize, I came in late, may have covered this. Why do it as TV rather than a podcast?
We want to have fun a little bit too, right? And it was just, like Derek, when he approached me and I asked Kejo to be part of it because I love working with Kejo, it was just, I do.
Thank you.
It was his idea. He wanted to broadcast something live, actually, originally, and it was just something different. And to be honest, a podcast, it could work, absolutely.
I guess if we're more careful about our script a little bit, because I thought about that too. I thought about the fact that, that's a good, thank you for that feedback, because we want to make sure our script is enough that in case somebody is working on something at their desk at the same time or looking over, then they can at least maybe play this or while they're driving or commuting. You're right, it could work in that format as well. That's something you can think about.
What we're hearing in there.
So, forgive me, I mean, this is completely fresh, I didn't see the video,
No worries.
and I'm new to the whole concept, but what I didn't grasp is really like what the mission and the audience is, right? As far as what is the objective of DGTV in terms of, educating the public or bringing light to issues, and you said that there's not going to be a political spin. What is it that, you would be satisfied with the impact that DGTV creates?
In terms of impact, I think it would be great if we had an audience of 1 million people that would be, well informed about the issues around digital, for example.
So the audience is just general, like a complete public.
No, I'm just saying the impact, and like in the big scheme of things. But ideally, like I said, is to inform an audience of news they may have missed. Much like how you would watch a newscast at 6 o'clock at night, You want to find out what's going on. This is more about like who robbed who and what accidents took place and what did the Prime Minister say. This is more about issues with regards to digital government. But since we don't have the capacity to do it every night at 6 o'clock, we just chose once a week at noon. So yeah, in the back, and then there, and then there.
I echo this previous comment about focus.
Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of news programs, especially ones that say that they don't have a viewpoint, because
That don't have, you mean like an opinion, like the theater?
or like ones that claim not to have an opinion, like the Daily News, where it's just like coverage of crimes and stuff. I find that like kind of grating.
Yeah.
I might be more, you might get more interest in this if you had, like, not an opinion, but like a fundamental point of view. And the example is like Democracy Now! Democracy Now! Isn't going to give you their, I mean, they will give you some opinion, but they try to be as journalistic as possible, but they have a fundamental view about the value of human rights and democracy. And like, that's where they come from. And they do deep research pieces based on that fundamental viewpoint. And you might gain more rabid fans if you had some fundamental viewpoint, like, I don't know, like citizens should be empowered to inspect code or something like that.
Yeah, I understand.
I mean, I'd have to watch the video again, but I think like because a lot of what some of the content there is like discussion of text or articles or like things that have happened. Like that discussion means that you are going to be having viewpoints. You'll be giving your own viewpoints either explicitly or implicitly, right? And once again, I'd have to do a closer reading and keeping more detailed notes so I can kind of see how that exactly came out, but I don't know if you'll be able to avoid it beyond like a bare bones, like kind of like this happened, that happened, which is kind of just like a news wire. So you may want to consider that you are adding some value to it by placing things in context and kind of like discussing them a little bit based on your expertise in the subject matter.
It does come up. I think I get what you mean. Like it does come up because we all have different kind of, or sometimes similar perspectives, and so we try to throw in questions about. So we're not just saying the story, but questions about, I guess, the positive and negative and gray area of this. So Innisfil, it sounds great and wonderful, but what are some of the possible repercussions of a design like that? So it does. You're right. It does come up. Like it's not going to be completely, we just don't get into the whole like deep dive that you might get with like, we were talking about Ontario is, sorry? Yes, like Steve Bacon, like we're not getting into,
The agenda.
The agenda, which is they stick to the topic and then get all these different specialists to talk about that one. So then you do get very political because you are talking about the one topic. And sorry, go ahead.
I mean, some of the questions you asked, I was wondering what your analytics are like if you're using analytics to track when people are watching your videos, where they're watching them, what devices they're watching them on, who your audience is, use their IP address to see like what their gender likely is and like what age they usually are. And then seeing, and you're worried if your videos are too long, use analytics to see when they're pausing the video or when they're leaving the video.
So we only have one video.
Okay.
So when everybody goes on, we're going to test your analytics on video. And you can let us know.